Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to see wonderful Wendy Dixon. Her first solo trance demonstration. Where'd she go? I'm missing her somewhere. Wendy, raise your hand. I don't even see you. Oh, there you are. So she will be going into trance. She'll give a demonstration. She'll take questions, and hopefully you guys are ready to have some questions answered. And I'm going to have Wendy introduce herself. You're muted.
Helps if I unmute, doesn't it? That's not a very good start. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. It's lovely to see so many of you. So my name's Wendy Dixon. I attend Julie's online group. I've been developing trance for quite a lot of years, on and off, for probably about 10 to 15 years. But with big gaps in between, as and when I've been able to join groups or whatever. So yeah, I'm looking forward to my first solo dem today, and thank you for Julie for hosting it for me. And welcome everybody. Don't make the questions too hard.
Okay, Wendy, we'll go into trance. You might want to unmute yourself since okay, you did. Okay, sorry. She'll give a demonstration. You guys can pin her if you want to, so you can see her better.
Hello to each and every one of you. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for this opportunity to share our words with you. For it is not often that we can bring so many like-minded people together to share words from the spirit world, words of love and joy, words that bring us together as one, as we work through this journey of life. For each and every one of you will have had experiences during your earthly life which has brought you to where you are today. And for many of you, these experiences will have tested your soul to the very core. It will have tested your inner strength and inner belief. It will have tested you to the point where perhaps you thought you could not cope or deal with these experiences. However, we see each of you sitting before us, and each of you has wisdom that has been accumulated because of these experiences. For it is a soul journey for each and every one of you, a journey that you partake upon with joy and often gladness that you will receive the lessons that you do indeed receive. Although we hear that for many of you, you say, I would rather not have had those lessons perhaps. But it is something that was agreed with this incarnation on this earthly life that you are currently experiencing. For as a spirit, as a soul, I have also undertaken to work with this medium, to help and support many through their time of need, to help with growth for my medium, but also for many others too. For many of you, we know that this is a very difficult time of year, a time when many of those experiences are brought to the fore of your mind. For is it not a time when family and friends come together? And yet, for many, that will not be the case. For even though members of your family have passed to spirit, and we know that although they are not in physicality on the earthly plane, their spirit, their soul is still around you, my friends. But for many, we know that it is the physicality that you miss. The ability to be able to hold another within your arms, to speak and get an answer from a person who you love deeply. But know that each member of your family and friends who are in the spirit world join you with joy over this time. And you will feel their energy surrounding you and supporting you in your time of grief. In your time of grief, when you feel perhaps that there is no more time for joy, but joy will surely come back into your life. Perhaps it is more difficult for those family members who still remain on the earth plane, and yet, for whatever reason, you have lost touch. For whatever reason, there is no longer a relationship. But my friends, deep in your heart, is it not time to allow that person back into your life? Perhaps not in the physical sense, but in your thoughts and minds, for surely there will be some positivity some positive experience that you can take from that relationship. It is not always easy. It is not always easy to forgive what others have done unto you, to forgive and let go. But when you truly learn to forgive, then it is then you will begin to accept that you can still have the memories of that person without having to have them in your life. It is in forgiveness that you will begin to accept that what has gone before is no longer. And once you begin to forgive, perhaps you can then take time to forgive yourself, my friends. For many of you carry around such guilt and such times that you find it difficult to release. But it is with acceptance and recognizing that the things that took place were all part of a lesson, of an experience, that you will learn how to forgive and let go. However, we do not ask, my friends, that you forget, for we do not wish for you to keep repeating the same lessons again and again. Once you have released, then you make room in your heart for new and wonderful experiences in the future. But often, when we are unable to forgive, we close our heart down to so much. And it is that love energy that is so important. The energy of love that surrounds us. The energy of love that brings us to the divine part of self. The divine spark within each and every one of us. For are we not soul? And our soul is part of that great divine. It is with self-acceptance that we begin to see that part of the divine within each and every one of us. As you look within your own heart and soul, as you accept who you are, as you begin to recognize the need that you also need to love yourself. For my friend, you are each beautiful in the journey that you are undertaking in this earthly life. Yes, it is a difficult time for many, but we must also recognize it is a time of joy for many also. It is a time of coming together, of being a part of the soul group which we are, of joining with friends, with family, with those who have perhaps been a big part of our lives for whatever reason. A time of making memories, memories that will last a lifetime. And as you sit and perhaps look at old photographs or pictures of friends and family, then the memories soon come back to the forefront of the mind. The memories of those who have gone before, to those who are ways in the spirit world, to those who have been such a significant part of your life and of your soul experience. For we each know that with love, we can overcome so much, my friends. But as we say, love must start with self-acceptance and self-belief. And once you can begin to accept yourself, then you can begin to take on new challenges, my friend. for each of you is able to grow beyond anything you can imagine, to undertake new things within your life that will help your soul growth, that will help the expansion of who you are. For it is with this expansion that you learn more, that you link in with that which is your soul group, your guides and helpers, who are willingly waiting to support and help you to move forward on your life. Often it is about accepting that they are there and listening to that voice, which for many of you, you will forget to listen. For many, it will be a matter of you saying, I cannot hear anything. And yet we in the spirit world shout loudly to help you to understand the messages that we bring. But you see, perhaps you are listening in the wrong way, my friends, for if you listen with the heart, if you listen with the soul, then that message will indeed become clearer. The message will become much clearer for you to understand, but it may not necessarily be in the words that you expect to hear. For there are many ways in which communication can take place, especially when we are on this soul path, this journey of soul which takes us to many different places, on many different adventures, on many experiences that will help to build that self-growth and that expansion, which allows you to access so much wisdom, my friend. And when you begin to access the wisdom, you will wonder how you suddenly understand so much more. For you are linking into a collective consciousness that enables you to access so much information. And as you access this, so your intuition becomes stronger and you simply know more information than before. Of course, this does not mean that you can stop studying altogether, for you will still want to study and you will still want to understand more about certain aspects of the spiritual world, about certain aspects of the way in which we work together. You will want to experience that which will bring you much comfort, that which will bring you that feeling of linking in with the spirit world. For it is indeed a truly wondrous experience when the spirit world and the human world join together as one. It brings with it much healing that often people do not realize that they require. Healing that is on such a huge scale that it has almost a domino effect as it links from one person to the next, and so on and so forth. With the healing and the wisdom, there is much for each of you to learn from our world. It is with great gratitude that we are able to communicate in this way. For our friend did not listen for many years. She made our life extremely hard, you know. For she did not listen to all that we brought to her and simply went along thinking that we were not communicating with her. And it was not until she started sitting on a more regular basis, sitting in the energy of spirit and simply blending with the energies, that suddenly the spirit's world became alive for her. It has been an interesting journey, and not one without its challenges, for she is quite a stubborn lady, you see. But it takes time, and it takes time for you to be ready. And when you are ready, my friends, there will be no boundaries. You will begin to accept and allow the spirit world to come closer, to join with you, to share that energetic energy which brings with it so much wealth of experience and wisdom. It is a wondrous thing for each and every one of you to allow yourself the time and the space to continue with your development. For we know that many of you have greatly surprised yourself on this journey. Instead of saying, I cannot do this, you have found the inner strength and belief to tell yourself, I can do this, and I am doing this. And we wish that each of you has a wondrous journey on the journey with the spirit world, on your soul expansion, on your soul journey. And we know that we have gone a little bit off track, for were we not discussing the coming together of many during this time of year? And we would like to wish each and every one of you a wondrous season, a wonderful coming together of sharing your time and your energies and beginning to create new memories that you will talk about for many years to come. New memories that will help to heal some of the old things in your life. New memories that will serve you in the future. For as you start to build these memories, then you will start to let go of some of the more unhappy memories from the past and allow these new and beautiful soul memories to replace them. We see your light. We see how beautiful each of you are. We know that the love that you want to give to others can be so hard to let go and allow it to be. But we send you great love and ask that you continue to shine your beautiful light to be part of the great divine, which brings us all together as one. I understand that there are some questions.
Does anybody want to ask any questions? If you feel shy, you can put it in the chat. Allison?
Thank you, Judy. Good evening, Spirit. Thank you very much for the most beautiful words that have touched my heart, and I'm sure many others within the room with us. You have, in many ways, answered my question. But I had written down here, what does Spirit feel is the most important lesson that we can focus on during our individual incarnations at this time? you have spoken about the challenges that we will each individually receive and conquer with our own self-belief, forgiveness, and acceptance. But I wonder if there is a specific area that we could collectively concentrate on or focus on to raise the energy of spirit.
Thank you, my friend. So, when you come into this incarnation, you decide at the time of joining this earthly life which lessons you would like to undertake. For there are many lessons that each of you will wish to undertake in each incarnation. And when you make these decisions, it is often about setting up, if you like, the connections, the experiences that will enable you to undertake these challenges, if you like. But for many of you at this time, your biggest challenge is to live your soul journey on this earth. For there will be many challenges that are put in your way that may prevent you from doing things in the way that you believe that they should happen. So you may undertake one part of your lesson, one part of your journey, and find that for whatever reason, you are unable to take it through to its conclusion. And so you will be given the lesson again and again until it is learned in the way that it needs to be. When you undertake this journey, it is imperative that you listen to that which is your intuition. For there may be times when you listen to your head and an experience starts to happen. And in your head, you may be feeling and thinking, I do not want to do this. I do not want this journey. I do not want this lesson. But your intuition, my friend, may be telling you strongly that this is certainly a journey that you should undertake. And we know, my friend, that you listen strongly to your intuition, for it has brought you on the journey that you are currently on. It has brought you closer to the spirit world. Your particular journey is very much about the communication with the spirit world, communing within one world and the next, and understanding that which is your soul. For we are all complex beings, and we all have free will, do we not? And it is that free will that can often prevent us from undertaking the journey that we should, the journey that we must. But it is your intuition that tells you, that shouts loudly to you, that this is the journey that you should take. Many have different lessons within each incarnation, and not every soul on the earth will be on a journey to recognize their soul. There may be some whose journey is all about self-acceptance and self-belief. There may be some whose journey is about living independently and have great lessons put in their way that will prevent them from doing that. Each journey, my friend, is individual to the individual soul. And your soul will recognize what is right for you at any particular time. We hope that that answers your question, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you, Spirit. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Sergio, did you have your hand up?
Hello there. I thank you so much for your talk there. It was so beautiful. I just wanted to know who you are channeling who we're speaking to at the moment.
Thank you for your question, my friend. So my friend here works with many different guides. There are many different guides that will work with her for different things. So for example, she will have a guide that helps with healing. There is also another guide who helps with her mediumship. And we have many other guides that come through for many different reasons. The guide that speaks to you today is known to our friend as the Lady of the Light. And she often comes in conjunction with another guide, an additional guide called Ramana, or the two energies will work very strongly together to enable her to understand the words which we wish to communicate. Both of these energies have in the past had an earthly life, my friend. They understand many of the experiences that will be encountered by not only our medium, but also each and every one of you. We understand that the earthly life is not always easy and is certainly not without its challenges. We understand how difficult it can be to communicate from the spirit side, to communicate to a person who would love to speak the words, but in many ways blocks that information. And as we said earlier, we have worked with our friend for many, many years, helping her to overcome her own blockages and allowing the voices of the spirit world to be heard, to allow the wisdom of the spirit world to be shared. For there are many ways in which our world can communicate with yours. There are many ways in which our world can support each of you individually. And each of you will have your own guides and helpers that support you in a similar way. We hope, my friend, that this answers your question.
Yes, it has. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nico?
Hello, my friend. Always a pleasure when you visit us, and we thank you again. Really quick, piggybacking on that question in a sense, for those who are new, for those who are just familiarizing themselves with their spirit team, you mentioned a few that come in and work with your medium. What advice would you have for someone first starting out to truly understand the spirit with them and to differentiate between spirits?
Thank you for your question, my friend. As we mentioned, there are many different guides that work with each and every one of you. And when you decide to partake of this journey with spirit, it is important as you recognize that you will familiarize yourself with the guides that you are working with. First of all, you will have what many of you may recognize as a gatekeeper, somebody who works with you and is with you from the time of your birth, from the time of your conception. And it is them that begins to build up that link with you individually. It is later with time that other members of the team join together, depending on what you are experiencing in your life. And so when you begin the journey of working with the spirit world, the most important thing is to begin to get to know your team. But it can be very, very confusing when initially you will be finding yourself with many different energies within your energy. So it is simply by sitting and blending with your guides individually that you will be able to start to differentiate the energies of one and another. But it takes time, my friend. For many, they do not recognize the energy at all, but all is energy, is it not? The earth is made of energy. You individually are made of energy. Your guides and helpers are made of energy also. And it is the blending of this energy that brings two together, brings the spirit guide and you as individuals together. So we recommend that when you start on your journey, you will no doubt be working initially with an experienced medium who will have had experience themselves of linking energies. And they will help you to understand the different ways in which your guides and helpers will communicate. Initially, you may have heard that many guides and helpers will give you a calling card. And it's not so simple that they drop a card in front of you, you see, and says, my name is X, Y, or Z. It is about energies, my friend. So for some, you may feel an energy as if somebody is stood beside you. For some, they may feel a touching of the hair or the shoulder. For some, they may feel or hear a sound from their spirit guides or helpers. But it is about familiarizing yourself with the individual guides. And once you have then begun to understand how that particular guide communicates with you, then you can begin to get to know other members of your team, or indeed you may wish to have other people communicate from spirit to spirit. So, for example, if you wish to work in a mediumistic way, you will link in with the energies of a person who has passed to the spirit world to give a message to that person who is asking for a reading, as you call it. It is for the medium about beginning to understand what that energy is. And the spirit world will use all of your senses, and many of you may have heard of the term clairvoyance or clairaudience and so on and so forth. So the spirit team will begin to give you information in a way which you can receive it. And this may take many years of practice to work out how the spirit world will communicate with you. What is the best way for you? For many, they will say, but I do not see spirit, or I do not hear spirit. But they may feel the energy of spirit strongly. And that, my friends, can help them to understand so much about an individual when they bring messages through. So there are many different ways in which the spirit world can communicate with each and every one of you. There are so many ways in which you can get to know your team. And once you know your team, and once you recognize them, then it becomes so much easier to work with them. There are many who will say, I do not know who my guide is. I do not know a name. But it is not necessarily important to have a name of a guide or a helper, for it is so much more important for you to recognize that energy, for it is the energy that you are working with. If you have the name of a guide who may, for example, be Fred, but you do not feel the energy, then you will not be able to bring through sufficient information to be able to communicate from the spirit world. So you see, it is energetics that is important, my friend. We hope that this answers your question.
Yes, thank you very much, friend. As always, beautiful.
Sandy asked if it's possible for our past loved ones to become our guides once they've passed on.
Thank you for your message, my friend. Of course, when our loved ones pass to the spirit world, they still wish to remain in touch. They will link their energies to us. And yes, they may indeed work with us as individuals. For is it not easier for you to work with the loved ones whose energy that you already recognize? Is it not easier to work with that which is familiar to you, rather than having to learn a whole way of communication with another guide? So indeed, our loved ones can help to communicate in so many different ways. Often, they will also bring personal experiences that have been shared. And this may be part of a message that you give to another. They can find ways of getting information to you much more easily because they are so familiar with your energy as you are with theirs. And it is a wonderful thing to recognize that even though a loved one has passed to the spirit world, that they still wish to stay in touch, to be involved in your earthly life, even if they are not here in a physical form. It is wondrous that that connection still continues to take place, and that you can feel and recognize the love of that person who is supporting you. For it is the love energy that will help you to give others information of love from their loved ones also. There is a quote that our medium uses often, which is that love means never being apart. So despite the fact that somebody will pass on to the spirit world, that love connection never ends. It continues through all time, my friends. It is a beautiful connection, a connection of love, meaning that you are always together. What a wonderful thought that is. I hope that that answers your question.
Yes, yes, it does. And thank you. And thank you for your beautiful philosophy. It was inspiring and informative. Thank you.
Thank you.
As asked, how can we accelerate the ascension process of this planet?
We are all, as individuals, working on a spiritual or soul level. And we are all working hard to help others to understand there is a time of awakening right now. A time when people are searching for much more than the materialistic world that has been around for the last couple of centuries. For in many ways, the world lost its way for a while. But as many, many more people come to understand the collective consciousness, the soul consciousness, that which is greater than all of us, then there is a coming together of energies which will help and support the ascension of the earth to greater things. For there is so much more than any one of you can ever imagine. It is such a beautiful thing when we recognize the divine love that supports and surrounds each and every one of you. The collective consciousness that we mentioned earlier in the conversation that brings together so much wisdom and will help to support this ascension. So your question was, how can we accelerate this? Well, my friends, you are already working towards this, are you not? But it does not happen overnight as you would wish. It takes time. It takes time and understanding, but you see, it is coming. It is coming fast. And each of you have contributed greatly to this, both now and in the future. As you continue your work to help to support others to understand this journey of soul, this collectiveness that helps us to move forward, to help us to move forward in love, to help us to move forward with the joy of the divine. We hope that this answers your question, my friend.
Thank you for that answer. I'm sure it did answer her question. She says yes. Claire would like to know, please, can I ask if our guides will let me know which way or how I am to use my abilities? Please, as I am at a crossroads. Many thanks with love.
Thank you for your question, my friend. Those crossroads, they do get in the way somewhat, don't they? For you have so many abilities, my friend. So much more than you give yourself credit for. But perhaps part of the problem is that there are so many things that you wish to do. And of course, your earthly time does not necessarily allow you the time to do all that you wish. Your abilities, as we mentioned, go far beyond your imagination. And you say you find it difficult to know which way to go next. And we know that you have a strong sense of intuition. But perhaps you do not always listen to that which is being said to you. For there are many ways in which the spirit world will communicate. There are many ways in which opportunities will land in your lap. For you have had so many challenges on this earthly plane, have you not? And each time you feel as if your way is blocked in some way, and this prevents you from moving forward, does it not? But we would say to you that sometimes these are not necessarily blockages, but merely diversions. diversions that will take you in a slightly different direction, but ultimately will bring you back to that place where you truly want to be. Perhaps it is about unlearning much of what you have learned, to be able to let yourself go sufficiently to recognize that intuition which is screaming out at you at this time, asking that you simply have patience, for nothing happens overnight. You are looking at several different options at the moment. And just because one of those options is not readily available, then it may mean that you take the other until the other option becomes available to you, until it is time for you to move forward, because there may be other information or wisdom that needs to be accumulated before you take the next step, my friend. We ask that you be patient. And we all know that patience is not an easy word to live with. Our medium has no patience whatsoever, and yes, she has faced many crossroads. But listen to that which is your intuition, for it will lead you in the direction that you need to going at this time. We hope that that answers your question, my friend.
Yes, thank you. That's amazing. Lots of love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, Spirit. We appreciate it and enjoyed it very much. We're not taking any more questions now. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend, for allowing this opportunity for us to share our words, and thank you to all who attended for the love and the energy that you sent to us during this time. God bless you, and lots of love. Hello. Oh, thank you so much, everybody.
That was wonderful, Wendy. Very wonderful.
Thank you.
Does anybody want to ask Wendy any questions?
Hi, Nico.
Hi. I love the fact that you didn't cough at all when Spirit was speaking.
I know.
As soon as Spirit left, you coughed. That's beautiful. Okay,
Oh.
so let's say I'm brand new to this whole thing and I'm watching you for the first time, and this is amazing. And where do you go?
Where do you go? Where do I go?
How do you feel with that transition?
Oh, blimey. That's quite hard to explain, really. I feel as if I feel present, but not present, if that makes sense. I feel as if I'm almost sitting to one side while the spirit world are talking. I feel as if I could interrupt at any time and I could bring myself back at any time, but I choose just to sit in that energy because it feels so beautiful. And I just feel held by the spirit world while they say their bit.
That's great. It's so amazing how there's a difference of you answering the question and Spirit answering the question. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more down to earth, I think, aren't I? Oh,
Very
yeah,
good.
this is how it is.
You did great.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to ask her a question before we close?
Yeah.
Yes, Natasha.
Natasha.
Hi, thank you, Wendy. That was amazing.
Very welcome.
Message being brought through you. Just wondering, how long did it take for you to channel?
For me, it took me quite a long time because I fought it. I was like, no, they can't speak. And I stopped it from actually happening. And my own head would get in the way. So it was very much about allowing my own head to get out of the way. So I would say I was a couple of years before I spoke for any length of time. I would perhaps say the odd word here or there. And then sort of gradually I started perhaps talking for a few minutes and then a little bit longer. And you know, more recently, I've been speaking a lot more. I've had the opportunity. We were talking earlier about being able to do it online because, you know, in the past when I've done training, I've had to travel there because it wasn't always online in the past, because it was probably 10 to 15 years ago when I started my development. And I would go to various teachers and then I would stop, and then a young lady that sat on here would sit for me, Denise Byrne, would sit and she would channel energy to me at my house. And then I moved 200 miles away, for which she's never forgiven me. So then it became a little bit more difficult. But of course, during lockdown, we all started working online. And it's the most fantastic opportunity to be able to build your energy. And it's been great because, you know, Julie runs a fabulous group. I also attend another group as well. So it is a really fantastic opportunity to be able to link the energy online. And at first you might think, well, how can they do that? But it's no different. The energetics of it is no different. It's just allowing this to get out the way, allowing your head to get out the way, and stop being stubborn like I was for quite a long time.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Claire has a question.
Who's that? Sorry, Claire.
It's
Claire.
me. Hi,
Oh,
Wendy.
hi, Claire. Hiya.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. You
Thank
answered
you.
several questions for me. I just wondered if can several guides come through, or is it just one? Or
Well, for in particular for trance, do you mean?
yes, sorry,
Yeah.
yes.
So I usually get the energy of at least two of my guides come through together,
Oh,
because
really?
one of
Okay.
them's quite an ethereal energy, quite a gentle energy, and the
Okay.
other one's got the power to kind of help it.
Okay.
Yeah. So they tend to work in unison.
Oh, that's really interesting.
To bring that through. Yeah.
Okay,
but
thank you.
sometimes I have others that, you know, I have other guides that will just come through solo.
Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
There's not any more questions, then I'll thank everybody for coming today. It was great. Wonderful. You did beautiful, Wendy, your guide.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I'm sure Wendy will be giving more demonstrations down the road.
Thanks for the opportunity. Can I save the chat? I think I can, but I don't
Yes.
know how to do it.
We'll figure it out once everybody leaves.
Thank you, everybody, for your support. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Chin Chin, you did great, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you for a lovely demo.